Hi everybody, I'm Mark Jacobs with Driving with Miss Lucy. I do a podcast. I love promoting small businesses. So if you would like to be my next guest on my next episode, contact me at 239-287-6580, personal cell phone number, or you can contact me at mjbenefitsadvisors@gmail.com. I look forward to meeting with you, and I look forward to you being my next guest on my next episode. Hey everybody, it's Mark Jacobs with MJ Benefits Advisors. This is my latest episode of Driving with Miss Lucy. Today I'm excited to have back with me, he is my first repeat guest. I gotta tell you, he's not only a repeat guest, he's the one that kind of kicked off this whole idea of driving with Miss Lucy. I have with me today Brian Franklin with B Frank Solutions. How you doing, Brian?
Hold up,
I was going to tell you, let you tell people a little bit about yourself, but I think that just did it all right there.
Hey guys.
Doing a promotion for McDonald's.
Well, good old apple pie. How y'all doing? My name is Brian, also known by B Frank. Here with my BFF, agent, partner, buddy, Mark. I'm so happy to be back on Driving with Miss Lucy. Seatbelts are on, because we know.
Well, now they are.
Yeah, no, they've been on the whole time. They've been on the whole time. No, I'm on deck. I'm being careful, you know what I'm saying? This guy is crazy. Anyways, so I'm super excited to be here talking to you, man. We're talking about insurance, business, and being an entrepreneur, and Southwest Florida, all that good stuff.
Yeah, so most people, if you know me, you know Brian. We work together really well. He does the same stuff that I do, and the most thing I'm most proud to say is that he does it the same way. Brian's got a lot of integrity. I mean, he takes care of his clients. He picks up the phone. He's actually somebody, you know, that I have no problem sending one of my agents to, or one of my clients to, or anything like that, because I know he's going to take good care of them.
And then the cool thing is, you know, and I love telling people this, Mark and I do the same thing. Now, a lot of the same products, same companies that we work with, but we're different people, but we still have the same intentions when we go about things. So it's cool to be in a situation where there's enough abundance of people, and we feel so secure in ourselves as agents that we don't see each other as direct competition. I do give him a hard time as much as possible. Because he keeps me this, like all the time, you know what I'm saying? You know, everybody want to be big dog, you know. But just the idea that I got this guy here who takes the time to learn about the product that he's talking about. A lot of people out here can sell but don't know what they're talking about. So you got somebody who's very educated, high integrity, you know, accessible, and he happens to be on my team. So I like to think that I'm Jordan and he's Pippen, you know?
Nah, get it right.
I'm Batman, he's Robin.
I'm Jordan, you're LeBron, you're taking second place.
I'm Superman and
Superboy.
And he's Krypton the dog.
Yeah. You don't even know what his name is, man.
The dog Crypto, something like that.
Crypto.
Yeah, Crypto. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I'm Barry Allen, he Wally West. So, any rate,
you realize that in comic books today that Wally West is black. You know that, right?
Wally West is black. That's cool, man. You got a little bit of flavor in you too, man. I believe it. You know what I'm saying? I have a feeling that you can get down. But regardless, yeah, man. So it's fun driving with Miss Daisy. I mean, you've done a few episodes now.
We're up to about a dozen or more songs.
A dozen or more. A dozen people got in the car with Mark and talked about things.
And the cool thing is not one of them cried about it like Brian has.
Listen, man, I'm sensitive, man. I'm real. There's a lot of things going on in this world.
Okay, guys. All right, guys. So let's try to get a little serious, because this is going to be a really interesting trip. I'm telling you, me and Brian have a lot of fun together.
Yeah, man.
So since this whole episode, since we both did the same thing, this whole episode is going to be kind of about insurance. So if you guys are paying attention, you're probably going to learn a whole lot of things today with some of the stuff we're going to talk about. So here's my first question to Brian, and I'm excited to hear the answer, see if it matches mine. When it comes to doing, let's start with Medicare.
Okay.
What is the most important thing or the hardest thing that you find out when you're trying to help a client that's on Medicare?
The hardest thing to get information on?
Not to get information on, but well, yeah, to get. I guess you could say get information on, information out of the client. What's your process? I mean, what do you look for? What do you talk to the client about when you're talking about Medicare?
So what I do is I assume, and I'm not to offend anybody, but just to put everybody on the same level, I assume that that person doesn't know what I know, because I've done so many trainings and so many certifications and classes that I always start from the beginning. I'm like, let's just start, and I always ask them that, like, okay, can we get on the same page here? And I start from the beginning and work our way through, because there's so many, in our industry, there's so many things that people miss up on or misunderstand that can ruin the whole trajectory of their healthcare.
Yep.
And the thing is, with it, is that they'll attach themselves to misinformation and can write it out for years. You have 6 years thinking the wrong thing about what you have, and you don't know until you find out. So the hardest thing is just sort of getting to that point where the client and I are on the same page about what's going on, so that we can walk that journey together. You know, that's the more thing, you know, how to get there, I just want to be friends first, you know. I want to be friends first and understand them. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. You're kind of on the same wavelength than I am. I can't really say use the word the friendship thing, but you know, I do want to be, you know, approachable to them, you know, and let them know, you know, hey, I'm here to. I come from a point of view of service. Mm-hmm. So you get a lot of people that, you know, when they start talking about Medicare, they're scared to talk to an agent for whatever reason. Sometimes I don't quite understand, because there's a lot of agents that are out there that are real pushy and everything else, and I'm not like that. I can't stand that. But so the only person they really talk to is you know, their cousins, family members, and everything else. Yeah. And you know, they could be living down here in Florida, and they're talking to a family member about Medicare that lives up in Illinois or New York or Chicago, where the rules are completely different in almost every state.
Every state, even counties.
Even zip codes.
Even zip codes, you can see a jump in the zip code.
Yep.
Person your neighbor down the street could have a different situation and opportunities or lack thereof than you have. So it's that connection with people. And the thing is, I think that when it comes to insurance, all insurance, most people are just run away, but they know they have to involve themselves with it. And with specifically Medicare, there's so much information out there, and there's so many people, you know, vying and going to, you know, push certain things, philosophies, that after a while, I think people in Medicare build a wall. They don't want to hear things anymore. So when we try to make the connection and sincerely change their lives or improve upon a situation, we find out that, okay, they have some resistance, you know? But
yeah. Well, and it's also, I mean, everything they see on TV. Like, you know, Joe Namath, and now the new one is what, Jimmy Walker?
Jimmy Walker,
JJ.
JJ. Oh my goodness. Jimmy Walker sells Medicare.
Those things drive me nuts. You can ask my wife. You can ask anybody that's around when one of them commercials come on TV. I'm standing and, you know, I'm yelling at this TV screen. You liar, you liar, you liar.
I'm looking at it like, what is
I hope everybody understands, and I tell this to everybody. You see an ad, you know, and for what Joe Namath, they're talking about Medicare on TV. They tell you talk to a live agent now, blah 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 blah. You can get free rides to doctor, blah 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 blah. Those are lead generation companies.
Yeah,
they are putting as much bait in the water to get you to bite, to get you to call them. Because what they do is they play like, you know, well, hey, we're certified agents. We just need to first step is to get your information. Then we'll have an agent call you back. What they do is they take your information and they turn it around and sell it to different Medicare companies or agencies and like that. That's how come as soon as you hang up the phone, 5 minutes later, your phone is lighting up from anybody and everybody calling.
Exactly. And then my biggest thing with that is, what does Joe Namath know about Medicare? I was like, listen, let's hear me out here. Hey, man, I'm a football guy. It's cool. I love good times. Yo, let's do that, right? But seriously, though, what does Joe Namath know about Medicare? It's nothing, nada. He just keeps getting paid. And then the thing about it is that if you call this number, even if you got put on a plan, that person doesn't know the area. The person that signs you up, okay, let me ask you this. This guy is in Indiana. He signs you up for a plan in Florida, right? Because he checked your zip code, you're in the plan. he doesn't know if a Publix is right down the street compared to the Walgreens. Or
it's not only that. It's also, he's going to ask you who's your primary care physician. And you're going to give him that person's number, and he doesn't know if that primary has access to, like down here in Florida, to a certain what hospital he has access to.
Yes.
And different things like that also. So he's on a time limit. He wants to talk to you. He wants to get you signed up. And he wants to get you going. So he can move on to the next call.
Move on to the next. I'm on the phone, I'm talking to somebody, or I'm visiting, I'm sitting across, and they say, oh, I don't have a primary care doctor, or I'm having a problem with my doctor. We find another one, I'm able to say, hey, do you want male or female? Do you want them associated with this hospital or that hospital? How many years of service do you want that doctor to have? Do you want that doctor to have other languages that they can speak? Okay, let's talk, right? Let's really get to what you need to get the most out of a plan that you deserve.
So let me ask you another question.
Yeah.
Why do you feel that is so important, whether somebody's already turning 65, why do you think it's somebody that's already got a Medicare plan, whether it be a Medicare plan, prescription drug plan, whatever it might be, why is it important for them to update that plan or look over that plan every year during open enrollment?
Because, the insurance companies change. They change things in the back end. And they changed it to make the plan more efficient, to take care of as many clients as possible. But sometimes those changes can affect you. So the one thing I love that you said there's certain types of plans that you marry, you stay with for a while. There's other type of plans that you have to date them. You kind of have to fill them out over time. And I honestly think that going into this insurance world by yourself, without a license, that's the worst idea. I would not venture out to be a brain surgeon. I would not do brain surgery on you without a brain surgeon and everything, Maybe, I don't know, I'm curious. But
my thing is this is like to me why it's important. Because you're right that there's things inside that plan that they change from year to year.
Yeah.
So the new plans can usually come out. We get the information about what's changing in the plan usually about the beginning to middle of August, somewhere in that general range. We can't really even start talking to clients about the different changes in a plan until October 1st.
Exactly.
Right? So, we're a lot more updated as far as what is happening, as far as what is changing. And it could be something as simple as, I don't know, for example, maybe your copay that you have to pay for going get admitted to the hospital or have an outpatient procedure has changed.
Yeah.
Or the thing I think is really crazy is that a doctor can turn around and be in a plan, a doctor or a hospital can be in a plan 1 month, and as soon as the very next month can drop the plan. Exactly. And you ain't going to know that if you ain't going to know that, and you're going to start paying out of that charges, because most people think it's going to be, well, that's just the normal cost, it's just the normal thing. The other thing is like on your prescription drugs. If you, 1 year you can be nice, healthy, and only take, tier 1 or tier 2 drugs, but if you have medications that you wasn't taking the year before, there might be another plan out there that, because of the way the formulary is or whatever else, there might be a little bit, they might rate it differently. Instead of one company might rate it a tier 3, or another one might rate it a tier 2, or even a tier 4. So the costs on that should be different. And if you stick with, the plan that you're on, when things change with your health and prescriptions and whatnot, you could be having more out-of-pocket expense than what you realize you actually have to pay for.
Exactly. I think something as you were talking, it dawned on me, and I'm gonna write this down. Don't take this from me, all right? I know insurance, and they know themselves. So when I'm talking to someone, you know you, and I know insurance. Let's meet in the middle. And the idea of I spend an entire day studying hundreds of products from tens of insurance carriers and become an expert at that. So unless you are willing and able to do that same thing, okay, the goal is to have conversations where I can go, okay, I'm a mile deep into this, but I need to know who you are and what you need. So tell me about yourself. And then you talk to a person, and then boom, you meet in the middle. We share information to get to the right spot. And that's really what's happening on the insurance side of things. I find that the hardest part of any of this is just that initial connection. Because I know for a fact, anyone that you and I get past that initial chapter with, we can improve upon their situation 99% of the time. And it may not be in the sense of changing a policy. Sometimes it's just educating them. hey, did you know you can do this? Or have you ever tried to do this
yeah.
instead? Yeah, so that's why I can say 99% of the time, because it's not about, moving or selling or any of that. Sometimes it's just more or less, hey, sit with me, and when you leave this conversation, you're gonna walk away with some gold nugget. I almost guarantee. I get 99.9999 just in case somebody might got me. Somebody out there. But more than likely, the person who got me, he might not have got me. Actually, I was going to say that. The person who got me has to be an agent themselves. Like, the only way.
That's true.
That's the only person I can think I can ever walk away from and be like, I got nothing else to say. I got nothing. Is a person like, oh, I'm licensed. Well, okay then. There you go. But even some agents don't know what to talk about.
Let's talk a little bit about other agents. Yeah. Because the agent you pick is just as important as far as the plan that you pick.
Just as important.
Because, don't take it the wrong way. Yeah. There's captive agents that are out there that can only write for a certain vendor. And I'm not in any way, shape, or form trying to point out that, they're less educated or less knowledgeable than what I am. No. Because they're not. Because there's some very good agents that are captive with certain carriers. Yeah. But the reason I recommend, whether it be me or whether it be Brian or another agent or another broker, the reason I recommend that you go to a broker is because a broker there's a difference between captive and being independent. Brian and I are both independent. That means that I am appointed by several different providers. And I don't have a loyalty to one. I don't have to write just, for example, put you on a United Healthcare plan. Yeah. I have no production numbers. I have nothing that I have to meet. Or Humana or any of them other ones. It's not that their agents are any less more educated than I am. The reason it's important for you to go to a broker, in my personal opinion, is because you have more options.
Because a captive agent is equal to saying, hey, I have this one thing. This is the greatest thing in the world. There is no one else that can do it better than this for 100% of the people. Yeah. So when you're a captive agent, what you're saying is, I have this product that is so great that 100% of the people who can actually purchase this qualifies and should be with it.
Yeah, and I don't know about you, but every person I've talked to, I've had husband and wife that's going on Medicare, that I put her on one plan with one vendor and her on another one, a completely different one with a different vendor. Yeah. Because they have different needs, they have different issues going on with them, and the plans from the different vendors is what works better for them. Mm-hmm. So if you're going to the guy that only offers one company, it limits your options.
A lot of people don't know that, by the way. That's a nugget right there. That's a nugget right there. People think that they have to have the same plan as a spouse on any insurance, life insurance, health insurance, Medicare. They think if I have this, my spouse should have the exact same thing.
Yeah, if it's good for me, it's good for them, and that's not necessarily
not true.
Especially when it comes to Medicare. Especially when it comes to Medicare.
It's like, no, honey, if you take no prescriptions and husband is taking 13, there's a good chance that he should be on a completely different plan that you're on,
Yeah.
Or you have a certain physician specialist that is important to you, but he may not even need it all, Networks matter in that situation. You can have different cards. And I tell you one thing, here's the great thing about being independent. I know that these carriers have no loyalty plans, I call them. There's no loyalty cards. Stay with them for 5 years. They don't give you a bonus for being a great client or even a great agent. They don't go, we thank you for being with us so long.
Let me tell you something else that kind of sticks in my craw. When you get these certain plans or for certain providers, and they're wanting to give you, we'll give you a $50 card every time you go to the doctor to see for this issue or for that issue, or whatever. We're going to give you a gift card, because you woke up today and you opened up and got off the right side of the bed. Now, I'm not saying those plans they work for some people, but remember there is a reason why they're trying to put all this money out, because the insurance companies get a nice little chunk of change on a monthly and a yearly basis from the government. So the more they can do, they know that there's something that's lacking in their plan, whatever that issue might be.
Yep.
So they're trying to do whatever they can to get you to look at their plan and to look past their shortcomings. And although some of them plans are really good in certain, like we talked about, in certain counties or in certain zip codes, that's why you need an educated agent or a broker that knows his area or knows the area that you're in to make sure that, those plans are good and you get all these extra benefits. It's funny because there's a plan that is down here that is really rich. But yet, I'm originally from Iowa. I tell you all the time, I'm just a fat local redneck from Iowa.
He's an Iowa guy who's a Dallas Cowboys fan. Go figure. That makes a lot of sense.
But with the same company, they have with the same company, more or less the same plan that is in Iowa. They have all these extra benefits on it. The reason that is because the area that it's in, network's not that good. Down here, the network is excellent.
Everything's a trade-off.
So they add all this extra benefits and throw all this extra stuff at you to try to, and people back there to try to attract you to that plan. So, there's just so much when it comes to Medicare that you have to trust your agent. It's a personal decision. If I'm not the right person for you, when I'm talking to a client and we're just not clicking or they're not feeling comfortable with me, I have no issue whatsoever passing them off to Brian, passing off to another agent that I feel would be a better fit for.
Exactly.
That's coming from a service standpoint. I want you to be satisfied. My most important thing is that you're taken care of, that you're comfortable with what you have, and if it's with me, that's amazing. If it's with Brian, that's amazing. It makes no difference.
And likewise. And I think when it comes down to it, it's like this. You shouldn't have to go after this Medicare or any insurance alone. There's a reason why that even with technology moving and things being the way they are, agents still exist. And the reason why is because there has to be someone accountable and knowledgeable about what you're dealing with, because a lot of us don't have enough time to be insurance experts, We all have mechanics, we all have doctors, most of us have barbers, Maybe Mark and I not so much, but even barbers. So, you have someone who's really good at what they do and you trust that they can handle it while you learn a little bit about what they're doing. And you balance some of the weight off. And when it comes to that Medicare stuff, and I think one part of this that we sometimes forget about, that we really need to touch base with, are the people who are not on Medicare but have parents on Medicare. Because that group of people, they have no idea what's going on. And to be fair, why would they? They're not on Medicare. But sometimes I think to myself how much help it would be if the aging, the children who are responsible and maybe not caregivers, but they are part of the lives of their parents and know more about Medicare. Eventually there's going to come a day when they're on it, but it also tells them, okay, this is how we should approach this for mom and dad. You ever think about that?
Yeah, he's actually a perfect example of it, to be honest with you. My father's 84 years old. Been on Medicare for close to 20 years now. Mm-hmm. And even before I started doing Medicare, he was, I had to help, when I first went down here to Florida, I had to help him switch around and figure out what his best plan for him. He never realized, like, for example, he's paying for the late enrollment penalty for Part D. Because he thought all this time, for 20 years, he wasn't taking any prescriptions. He was in excellent health. He didn't felt he needed it. So he never went and got a prescription drug plan. Come to find out, after 20 years, if you don't have a qualifying prescription drug plan through your employer or wherever and don't inform Medicare about it, there is a late enrollment penalty for that.
Lifetime.
Yeah, lifetime. It doesn't. It's just not for the first time you make a payment. It's for the rest of your life.
So that people don't know, there are penalties in Medicare. There's at least two I can think of that if you don't do the right thing at the right time, you can mess around and have a lifetime penalty.
Yeah, lifetime the severest one. Dad pays an extra $30 a month for his prescription drug coverage.
Yeah.
But being honest, somebody that's on a fixed income, $30 a month, that's a nice chunk of change.
And then $30 when you know it could be $70.
Yep.
It's like just the thought of knowing, man, I'm paying $30 more than I should be paying for this particular thing.
But the real bad one is the penalty for late enrollment for Part B.
Yeah, that's a doozy.
Because that one, 15 years, if my father never enrolled in Part B, because for whatever reason, we use him as an example. For Part B, it's 10%. Is it every month or every year? Every year.
I think it's every month.
Yeah, it's for every month you go without qualifying Part B coverage. It's either every month or every year.
All I know is that for the Part B, it gets real big, a lot quicker.
It's 10%. So if you're paying right now, the current cost of somebody turning 65 is $148.50. you take that by 10% for every month you go without it. In 14 months, instead of paying $148 for your Part B premium, you're paying $300. It builds quickly and is costly. And again, it's not just for the first year that you're on it, it is for lifetime.
So, I mean, this is why it is so, education, I mean, even when you hear, and I won't even go down that road, like too far down that road, but even when you hear politicians talk about the Medicare this and Medicare that, the education on this is so important. This is something that you need to at least have a ground level understanding so that if not for yourself, for your parents to kind of guide them, because you don't want to be the person that walks into an issue where things are already chaotic and everything. You want to know, like, hey, I can see this coming and this is how we approach it. So yeah, man, the Medicare. Who knew? Who knew that we'd be passionate about Medicare? Isn't it weird when you?
I was just about to say, for everybody that's watching, if you know what you just listened to for the last 20, 25 minutes, whatever it is you listen to two Medicare agents or two health insurance agents just slice off just a little bit off the top of the mountain that frustrates us when it comes to all this stuff. And how passionate we are as far as making sure our clients are on the correct plan, in the correct place, and are educated about what they're getting. And it just, I mean, that is just the tip of the iceberg. We haven't even touched, like, you know, the under 65 market, you know, or anything else, the things that frustrate you.
Enrollment dates and all, I mean, oh my goodness, it's so much. And it's an exciting frustration. It's it is weird to think that I can get that deep. We can burn an hour or two, but we're not gonna do that. We're not gonna do that to nobody.
Here's what we got to do. And normally we do this way earlier in it, but Brian and his apple pie kind of got in the way.
It was good.
But Brian, tell everybody how they can reach you. How they can find you.
So if you want to reach me, I got a bad signal on top of the Cruiser Center in Fort Myers. No,
it looks like an apple pie.
It looks like an apple pie. Get on apple pie. No, so my number is 239-672-7475. That's 239-672-7475. You can also reach me at bfranksolutions.com. Even call that guy up and he'll call me. I'm super accessible. I prefer for people to contact me whichever way it makes them feel comfortable. And then, just plant the seed. What's important to me is to have realistic relationships with people and to have a goal, an end goal in mind. And say, hey, listen, come to me for your education. If you have a one-off question, I'll answer that question. If you want to go deeper, we can do that as well. Just let me know in the beginning. And I just want to help you. Just like you. I just want to be able to say,
and that's the other thing. People think that, he's not my agent, whatever, he ain't going to answer. No. I am service-minded. I don't care if you're my client or not. Now, there's only so far I can take this because a lot of the vendors will not allow me to call them up and speak on your behalf unless you're my client.
True.
But if you have a question, I don't care if you're my client. I don't care if you're Jimmy Bob's from the Fish Shack's client. I don't care. Call me up if you got a question. I'll do my best to answer it for you and help you to help you resolve your problem. But whoever you're with, it makes no difference to me. Exactly. I'm very much service based, and I'm not going to charge you, or there's not a fee for doing it or anything. Both of our services are completely 100% free.
Zip zero. You know who pays me? The insurance carrier. They pay me. And when I do service stuff, and it doesn't cost a client a dime, most of them, all I ask is for the referral. I tell people all the time, hey, listen, if I give you, and I know I'm going to give you some great information, and I'm going to help you, but you're not going to wind up paying the client for me or me for you, and that's fine with me. But I'm sure you know somebody that might be a perfect fit, and just let us know. And I think that's where it comes down to. Because right now we can't be Morgan and Morgan. I always joke. I said I can't be Morgan and Morgan. This is the closest we will get to it at the moment. Not yet, but at the moment. Not ever, but at the moment. So it's like, hey, I can't do billboards, and I'm not doing commercials with superstars. But I'm doing a video with Mark, and we're here, and we're accessible, and we're driving with Miss Lucy. So it's just like, okay, talk to me. What can we do? What can we make happen? And refer people.
Yeah. So, man, it's been almost 30 minutes we've been talking. We didn't need to talk about all the personal stuff you do.
All the personal stuff.
So we'll have to do that. We'll have to do another driving with Miss Lucy with you, get a little bit more here. Maybe another couple weeks or a month or so. but I'd love to end these in a certain way.
Okay.
And the way I love to end my episodes is I ask you a question.
Okay.
So my question to you is, and there's going to be a stipulation to it when it comes to you at the end, so hold on before you answer. So what is your favorite inspirational quote and why? And the caveat to it with you is it cannot have anything to do with circumcising your fries or your apple pie or any other stuff.
Oh my goodness, that is a great question. Man, you know what? Inspirational quote. That is a great one. I don't even know where to go. Martin or Malcolm. What do I want to do? Well, I got a Bible verse that meant a lot to me as a young man, and it goes a lot to it, but it's in 2 Corinthians, and the verse basically says, "When I was a child, I thought like a child.
Yeah.
But when I became a man, I put childish things away."
Yep.
And that's a paraphrase of it, but that quote meant a lot to me because it was actually reported from my father. And, you know, he and I, during that time, we became closer. He revealed it to me, and I read into it. And I thought about all the childish things that I was doing as a young man. And I was like, okay, it's time to grow up. And that, when I read that for the first time, it was part of my evolution of looking in a mirror and not seeing a child. Because the thing is, it's not about what the world sees, it's about what I see. And prior to that, I looked in the mirror and I said,
well, that quote is about what you see, it's about what your children see.
Exactly. But and my children will see, they will see in front of them. They will see, if I look in the mirror, they'll see, if I see that, then they will see that as well. And it's just been that reflection of life, been that reflection of growth, you know, in Christ Jesus. So that's kind of where I was, and that's my goal. I think.
I like that, man. It's a good one. That's one of my favorites. To be honest with you, I've seen that quote stated in certain weddings and things like that.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, yeah, I believe that and followed that since my first son was born. I always loved that quote. I always loved that passage.
There it is.
All right, so tell them one more time.
One more time
about how to get a hold of you.
For one more again for people in the back. My name is Brian Franklin. I go by B Frank with B Frank Solutions. My number is 239-672-7475. You can text, call, you can email me, or whichever way works best for you. Knock on my door if you know the address. I just want to be able to connect and do well by people, because I feel like peepers and peoples. It was the apple pie. It's that apple pie got to me, and I don't know what it is. I want to get a straw. No, I'm joking. I don't want to offend anybody. So anyway, it's been a pleasure being on this episode with you once again.
I appreciate you coming on. So we're going to kind of end this now. Again, Brian, thank you for coming on. It's been a blast like it usually is. For everybody else that's out there, if you'd like to be my next guest on Driving Miss Lucy, reach out to me at 239-287-6580. That is my personal cell phone number. Or you can send me an email to mjbenefitsadvisors@gmail.com. I'd love to have you as my next guest and have as much fun with you as I just had with Brian. So, hook me up, people. Thank you much. Hey, everybody. Thanks for watching. Appreciate you. Check out or watch on my Facebook page for the next episode who my next guest will be. And hopefully, it'll be you.